Now, people are always asking me, what kind of car should I buy that's reliable if I don't have very much money? I just got done doing the brakes on this 1999 Honda Accord. So driving this actually made me think, could this 25-plus-year-old car be a viable option for someone like that? Or because of its age, is it just gonna have too many problems, be too much of a headache? In today's video, I'm gonna go over a few reasons why I would buy this car in a heartbeat, and a few reasons why I absolutely wouldn't.
Life is complicated enough, but at least you know you're driving the right car. The dependable Accord from Honda, for whatever's down the road.
So this Accord, like many Hondas in the late 90s, were part of what a lot of people consider to be the golden age of Honda, where during that time Honda was really focused on reliability and quality. And it was also before a lot of systems were introduced for emissions, EPA, as well as like electronics and fancier luxury items. Even this engine is super simple. They worked out a ton of the bugs from Gen 4 and 5. A lot of the submodels even of the 6th generation don't have EGR even, where they're not even reburning the exhaust gases. They're really well known for their transmissions shifting really smoothly, the manual transmission especially lasting forever, and even the automatic transmissions too, if they were well taken care of, easily 200, 300,000 miles. That was kind of like the Honda Toyota thing. These things are legendary. The motor in this car specifically, single overhead cam, like kind of old technology, but just so simple, a lot less moving parts and a lot less stuff to go wrong. There's even an old distributor in there, like mechanical ignition parts rather than coils and electronics. There's still some great positives going on right here. What I see is 4-cylinder engine. This model came with a V6 or a 4-cylinder, but 4-cylinder is great because it's simpler, a lot less stuff to break, and that leads me kind of into why I like these older cars in general. As a DIY mechanic myself, I love how they just have so much space to work. I can do any repair on this engine so much faster than, say, a cramped Hyundai Accent under hood where everything's just blocked by everything else. I can replace starter, alternator, AC compressor, power steering pump just by unbolting it and taking it off. It's like it's not a big deal with these old engines. And on that note, the parts for these things, like an old Accord like this, are actually really readily available because they sold so many of these cars. The parts are still out there and you can absolutely get any part you need under the hood especially. And actually the gas mileage on these things is pretty good. Like this is gonna get high 20s, low 30s miles per gallon, which is actually very similar to some more modern, sophisticated cars these days. Another thing I like about these old cars, they just feel solid. I don't know what it is about them, but everything just has like a well-built, heavier feel. And then this car's exterior is in actually a really good shape. Like it's got some scrapes and stuff from being older, but a car this old in Hawaii specifically should be like totally sun damaged and peeling and faded. And this is actually pretty nice. Tires are in good shape. These wheels are great. This is like a cast single metal rim. It's like not plastic that's gonna break. You know, you get those plastic covers that they're always cracking and getting lost, and then it looks ugly. Now, because it's the EX trim, not only does it have those alloy wheels, but it has the sunroof, which I'm personally not a big fan of. I live in Hawaii, I don't want the sun in my car, but it actually looks like it's in good shape as well. Like this rubber seal looks really good, not sun damaged, and there's no rust around it, which is a common area to get leaks and rust. In fact, there's really no rust anywhere. I haven't seen any rust on the body or under the hood at all, which is pretty impressive. On the interior, again, I'm really impressed in the condition of this specific car. Those seats have the leather and they're not torn, ripped, faded. Another cool thing is they have this ugly dash cover, but underneath it is a totally perfect dash, which means they're putting this fabric dash cover on as preventative measures to keep sun damage off, which means they're taking care of their car. And when it comes time to resell this, if they even want to resell this car, it's gonna look really good with a fresh OEM dash. For a 25-year-old engine, this thing's running totally smooth. And check this out, it's only got 71,000 miles, which is nothing in light of the fact that these are well known to go easily 250,000 miles if they're maintained properly. So 71,000 miles is nothing. This car is going to be around for a long time if it's taken care of. Now this is the 4-cylinder, so I'm not going to win any races going up this hill, but it's running very smooth, no complaints. And what I do love is these old gauges. I can easily tell my fuel temperature, even my RPM, which is something that modern cars will sometimes totally leave off of the dash. So just a very analog feel with these old 90s cars, which, you know, some people don't like because it's kind of dated. I really like that there's physical knobs for stuff rather than touchscreen buttons. Let's try the AC. Oh yeah. 25 years old, AC's nice and cold, which is the main thing I'm worried about here in Hawaii. I mean, the AC system is, at the point that this car was made, had been around forever, and they just put a solid system in, and it's still widely today's technology. Like, we can go down to the mechanic and he's going to refill it with the same chemical now as they did back then, and it's all the same technology. It's all easily fixable. Even this clock is pretty awesome. Like, there's buttons to set your clock. One of my pet peeves is having to reset a clock by going into the radio menu. Every card's so different, so hard to figure out. On here, I just press the button for the hours and the minutes and it changes it. Love that. Another great thing about these Hondas was the visibility. And I've noticed this in a lot of older cars, but like, I can see everywhere. Like, the blind spots are very small, and it just feels like I can see all around me. It's not blocked by giant pillars of plastic or handles. And just because it's an old car doesn't mean it doesn't have modern conveniences. We have the electric windows, electric locks, as well as the electric sliding seat, which is all good. Though I don't really like those conveniences myself, because inevitably they break and then you got to replace them. Though on this car, I know for a fact that it's very simple to replace window motors and switches, so it's not going to keep you from replacing them. Another thing that a lot of people don't think about is that older cars like this have, in most states, much cheaper registration and insurance, so you save a bunch of money there. So the main thing with this car is that, for me, it represents an age where cars, manufacturers of cars, specifically Toyota and Honda, were developing and marketing their vehicles for reliability.
Higher quality lowers repair costs and improves reliability. It makes Avalon a better value to begin with and worth more later on. When it's put together properly, it works every day.
Whereas today, I feel like car manufacturers are marketing based on lifestyle and convenience and how many miles per gallon you get. It seems to me that car manufacturers are pushing us more and more towards buying a brand new car every 3 years. The idea of reliability just isn't really talked about in their marketing that much. So in 25 years, will I be able to recommend the cars that are being made today with their hybrid motors and their turbocharged engines? I don't think so. I don't think that they're going to last as long in the same way that a car like this did. Now, I've been saying a lot of good things about this car, but we do have to address some of the negatives. Now, as I said, even though this car is older, the engine and transmission are super solid. They're gonna go for hundreds of thousands of miles. But it's the sort of the peripheral engine components that go bad with time and use. So if you buy an older car like this, especially with high mileage, these peripheral components are gonna be reaching the end of their life expectancy, and you're probably gonna have to replace one or two of them. On top of that, with a car that's 26 years old, anything that's made of plastic or rubber can disintegrate or break down even when the car is not being driven. Just sitting there, it'll happen. So for example, vacuum lines made out of rubber, or the air hoses, they'll start cracking, and when the engine gets started up and vibrates, they'll fall apart. Things that are made out of plastic, like the top of this radiator, it oxidizes, gets brittle, and will very easily spring leaks in your radiator. In the same way, the things in the interior can break down as well. So a real common example is retaining clips on the door locks or window fittings are made out of plastic. They get brittle and break. Now all of a sudden your windows or your door handles or locks don't work. So these are all things that they're not major problems. They're easy to fix, especially on an old car like this, and they're really cheap to fix. But you just have to be aware that they're going to happen. You're not going to get lucky and have a car that doesn't have those problems. They're just always going to happen the older the car gets. So the question is, if you're looking for something affordable and reliable, should you buy this car? Now, with the peripheral engine components that will probably be going bad, on a regular basis, if you're any kind of a DIYer with any level of skill, it's not going to be that hard to stay on top of them. And if you're subscribed to Budget Mechanic, it's a cakewalk. A good thing is too that you can often get older cars like this for really cheap. Like, I know the owner of this car bought it a couple years ago for $2,500, which is really good for a car with 70,000 miles and in as good a shape as it is. I mean, for this car, I would even be willing to pay $3,500. So this is who this car is not good for. If you're someone that doesn't like working on cars, you're not really a DIY person, this car is quickly going to become a headache. When all those little peripheral things go wrong that have to be dealt with, you're either going to let them continue to be broken, or you're going to take stuff to the mechanic every time something breaks, and that's going to get really expensive. Now, I will say again, if you do watch all our videos, subscribe to the channel, you'll quickly become a person that can handle this car. But for those of you that have zero interest, I would steer clear of a car this old. It's just going to be a headache. Same kind of thing applies if you're trying to buy this car for a kid going off to college somewhere. If they don't have an interest in fixing the car themselves, well, probably you're the one that's going to be getting the phone calls and the mechanic bills. So besides not being a DIY person, another reason you might want to run away from this car is if it has high miles already. So if it's already in the 200,000s, or if the body or engine has rust on it, or just in generally if the car looks like it hasn't been well taken care of. For any of those reasons, it's probably not worth the risk. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you're going to definitely want to check out this one we made on the 5 habits you want to have to make your car last for hundreds of thousands of miles.